Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
So last week on the episode, we talked about and introduced social responsibility, and we posed the question to say we're bringing it up today. And today it is, how do we connect social responsibility and emotional intelligence? So just as a reminder, social responsibility is about outside of yourself and is contributing to the welfare of a larger social system. So in what ways is emotional intelligence driving social responsibility for people?
I think, Jen, it's the second part also of the definition of social responsibility, right? To have and act in accordance with social consciousness and to show concern for the greater community, right? So that we can tie all that into emotional intelligence right there, because we have the social consciousness and also the concern for the greater community. So it's not just about me, it's bigger than me. And, last week we talked about the straws and the turtles. It's every straw that goes into the water. Who knows what's going to happen? So it's about being able to just think beyond your small little bubble and to really see how what we're doing each and every day connects with that larger social system. And it really takes awareness. And the awareness piece fits so much into emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I love that. Because a lot of times people think of social responsibility just about charity, and it's not. That could be a component of it, or they may say it's just about recycling. Okay, that can be a component of it, but it's really about your interactions with others, right? And knowing that you're making an impact. You walk into 7-Eleven and you buy that extra large Slurpee and you're a jerk to the clerk. Well, that then you are having an impact and a social responsibility that is actually sharing emotion that is not making the world a better place.
I got to tell you, I thought you were going to somehow talk about a straw.
No. But so let's talk about then, how does social responsibility and emotions tie together? So when people have a high degree of social responsibility, it's really then what emotions might they be experiencing because of that? So I think of things like compassion or responsibility, connection. Connection is a big one, right? It's that whole concept of that I want to say is when a butterfly flaps its wing across the world, something else is going to happen, maybe a tsunami on the other side of the world. It's because all of our interactions have an impact and a trickle out theory with other people.
So I like that you talked about those emotions, because even thinking about that, right? What are the things that you do when you are, right? So social responsibility, it's how you're contributing to your society, right? And then how does that make you feel, right? Energized, excited, like a productive member of society. But all that, right? You're caring about the welfare and the well-being of other people, and spot on with emotional intelligence, right? That is emotional intelligence, acting in that responsible manner. And even though you might not know what's going to happen with what it is that you're actually doing, so you don't have to be say, okay, great, I'm not going to do this to get that, or I'm not going to do this you're not looking for the outcomes, but it's just it makes me think, Jen, it's just about doing the right thing. I don't need to benefit personally, but doing things for other people in that bigger picture kind of thing. And again, saving the turtles.
I love it. And also you bring up something that I think is important, is that it can create a sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself. So part of this is when it comes to social responsibility is people with a high EQ on it, they actually want to uphold social rules and norms, and that's important. So I'm going to give a really weird example. So Karen and I just joined Orange Theory Fitness, and we love it. We're having a good time with it. But there's a lot of social norms that happen in the environment. It's a class environment. You go to it. There's certain times you have to wait outside. And then with COVID, you have to, you can come in and be brought in and stuff. And it was interesting. Yesterday, I got on the treadmill. I was there a little bit early and I just started to go. And a gal said to me something like, "Oh, did they change the policy about that you can just start on the treadmill whenever you want?" Like she said very nicely. It was actually wonderful. What I felt like she was demonstrating was a social responsibility of understanding the norms of the group and helping me understand them as well. Because I said, I have no idea. I've been a member for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm totally down with we start whenever. I just don't know. And then we started talking with some of the other people around. Why is that a rule? Blah, 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 blah. But it actually was a way to show social responsibility to the established rules and understanding within the Orange Theory community. And I know that's just, it feels like a stretch, but it doesn't. Because what happened was I came home and felt more connected to Orange Theory. I met 2 women. I had a conversation. I'm understanding the norms. I immediately told Karen, hey, just so you know, if you get there early, don't go on the treadmill. Everyone starts together. Part of the Orange Theory concept is a team. We're a team on the treadmill. We're a team on the rowers. We're a team on the floor. And part of that whole thing promotes that. So I walked away from that where, remember, we're talking about really understanding the norms of society as a great connection point of a higher level of social responsibility. I told you it was random.
Totally, but it makes me think it makes me want to know the reason why. And my competitive piece of it goes to people compete when they're there. But anyway, but it's interesting because that connects to the last line of the definition of social responsibility to show concern for the greater community, right? So it's the Orange Theory community that you're connected with. So it's okay, great. These are the rules of engagement for this overall community.
Yep. And there it was, like I said, the woman said it in such a nice way. And she kind of apologized, like, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm like, no, I mean, just give it to me straight. Let me know what the norms are for this place. And I'm totally happy. But what it did is it showed me that they cared, that there's a sense of belonging, that they actually were looking for clarity and using other people to help to understand it. They also wanted to fit in and understand the unspoken rules, right? So those are some of the emotions of how social responsibility can be linked to an emotional intelligence that can really create a tighter knit community in the world where people feel like they are connected and they belong.
And what's interesting too, Jen? That almost makes me think a little bit, and we're going to wrap this podcast up, and maybe we can talk about this next time, but it almost makes me think of how things are changing so much, especially in the last year or so with social responsibility. Because for example, this morning for me at Orange Theory, it's okay, there's no masks and the instructor's wearing a mask. I'm like, okay, when are you going to not have to wear a mask anymore? And it's just okay, yeah, July 1st, they don't have to wear a mask. So it's all about how things are changing, day by day, week by week. And it's what are the rules now, right? So the woman asking you yesterday, oh, can we do this now? Don't know, but just figuring out what are some of the new rules of engagement on how we're doing things moving forward.
I just have to throw one more thing as you said that. It made me think, because you said, especially in the last year, social responsibility has been a huge theme. Some of the emotion that comes from social responsibility is outcry, unjust, frustration, anger, disappointment that will spur people to take action to have more social responsibility as well. So it's not always just that I want more sense of belonging. It's I am going to fight for our right. Don't say it, Karen. Right. It's going to be our fight for our right to have a more just system from a social perspective. So on that note, I think we'll wrap up this episode and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.